You could cut the tension with a knife right now in the Path of Exile 1 and 2 community. There's a lot of stuff happening. There is a lot of noise out there, but I kind of just wanted to provide an update so far of what we know. Now, as everyone knows, on January 29th, Jonathan came out and basically fell on the sword again in reference to why Path of Exile 1 is not going to be getting an update. Literally, they had to move all the resources to Path of Exile 2. And that got a ton of reaction. Obviously, most of it negative. And literally 4 days later, Grinding Your Games came out and they said, unfortunately, regarding the bad news around the resources of Path of Exile 1 and not having anything imminent coming, they now adjusted their resources and are now going to be coming out with a league. We don't know when. All we know that it's going to be a 1 month league. It's going to be a crazy sort of league where the 19 ascendancies that currently exist in Path of Exile 1 are going to be completely overhauled, and we're going to have 19 new ascendancies. And things that were in the Path of Exile 1 drawing board that never made it to production or never made it to in-game, some of those things from the past apparently will be introduced into this league. So we have that happening in Path of Exile 1. Again, we don't have any confirmed timelines as far as when that's happening. Now, I do want to say there's been a lot of discussion around what's happening with PoE 1 and what's going on with PoE 2. Now, as far as PoE 2 is concerned, we received an update approximately 13 hours ago at the time of recording of this video. And Grinding Gear Games, this is in reference to Path of Exile 2, is currently working on a patch 0.1.1 Charlie C for Path of Exile 2 that includes bug fixes and minor new features. We plan to deploy this patch by the end of this week, and they have talked and outlined what the preview is, and these are basically some bug fixes and minor new features that they plan to deploy, like I said, by the end of this week. And there's going to be full details in the patch notes, but some of the features are all these guys, and it's basically adding up to 5 respawn attempts at the Twisted Domain area based on the area difficulty, added up to 5 respawn attempts for the Alroth Origin of the Fall boss fight based on fight difficulty, added up to 5 respawn attempts for the Crux of Nothingness area based on the area difficulty. They added minimap icons for strong boxes. The minimap icons for league mechanics now remain visible regardless of how far away you travel from them. Hallelujah. We've been asking for that for a long time, making it easier to return to them later. No more roaming around looking for where the ritual events are, as an example. So that is a nice quality of life. They've added more checkpoints to several map areas and improved the placement of some checkpoints. Again, it's navigation, trying to reduce the walking back endlessly trying to find an area or the content in the map. Minions can now briefly squeeze through smaller gaps if they fail to move for a short period. And they fixed some bug fixes, which I'm not going to get into. And going back to Path of Exile 1, this is the update that we got regarding the league that's going to be coming with the 19 new ascendancies. And again, they go into why things have not progressed as quickly. And then they said they're going to start by running a 1 month event that has some of our wacky ideas that never quite made it off the brainstorm board. So what does PoE1 look like with the 19 ascending classes? You know, and are familiar with are all of a sudden replaced by a different 19. What does PoE 1 look like when you get to play a witch and ascend to a harbinger? These are the questions our design team asked each other, and in this event, we'll provide you with some of our answers. We'll release more details, and they're looking forward to the community reacting to some of their unhinged ideas. So that is basically what's happening with PoE 1, PoE 2. Now, I understand everyone having all these different viewpoints and different opinions on what's going on. And some people are going down the dark rabbit holes. RIP PoE 1. I give it 1 year. I give it 2 years. I give it 3 years. RIP PoE 2. They can't figure out what to do. The game is doomed. All this kind of stuff, right? RIP, and all the memes and all the naysayers, right? And they're entitled to their opinion. But both games, here is currently Path of Exile 2. Again, this is SteamDB, guys. Not everybody plays Path of Exile on 1 or 2 on Steam. But it's not a bad indication of really what's going on in the whole space. Now, absolutely, PoE 2 currently at the recording of this video, as you can see in these charts, they're a little bit lower than what they typically were doing in the first 5-6 weeks. 20, 30, 40,000, 50,000, give or take, in between that range, down from where they were constantly peaking at 180, 220 daily. That has taken a dip. And I got to say, they've also taken a little hit on their satisfaction, 79.3. That was in the 80s, so it's gone down a little bit. And who can blame the people that are giving them bad reviews? The end game in Path of Exile 2, I would say, and I think a lot of people would agree with me, is not exactly where it needs to be. But that's hopefully going to get addressed in not only this patch that's coming this week, which is a small patch, but there's a big one, 0.2 coming. Again, we don't know when, hopefully soon. That is going to be a big fix in my estimation. I also think it's going to include a server reset, and I also think that's when they're going to take the opportunity to introduce 2 more classes, the Huntress and the Druid, which they've already said will be the next 2 classes coming to early access. So that's Path of Exile 2. Even Path of Exile 1 has seen a nice little blip, and this all started with the bad news, and then everyone came out and they wanted to support Path of Exile 1 again. Now, Path of Exile 1 has always been supported, don't get me wrong, but it has seen a nice little blip, and thanks to people like content creator Pox, who's running a private league, who had 20,000 people max on the server, and he sold that out very quickly. And last I heard, he's asking Grinding Gear Games to increase the limit on that server. I don't know whether or not he's gotten it. Hopefully he has, but that's amazing. But Path of Exile 2 is gotten a little blip from all this noise that's out there right now. PoE 1 versus PoE 2 crap, as I call it. But I wanted to make this video for a couple of reasons. Number one, there's a lot of naysaying going on. And you know what? It's easy to kick someone when they're down. And do not get me wrong, some of it is deserved. This was a huge misstep. And now I'm talking about Grinding Gear Games as a macro statement of running both games. Number one, big mishandling on the resources and manpower required to run 2 games, which they said they were going to be able to do, and clearly they misjudged that, and they're now paying for the consequences of that. And this is why a lot of the noise is out there. So not only was there a mistreatment in resources, but I also felt like they totally mishandled how to treat the Path of Exile 1 community, which basically is the reason why Path of Exile 2 exists. So two big blunders, and they're wearing egg on their face right now, and some of it is deserved. Let's be honest. Let's call it what it is. However, I'm a big believer in grinding gear games. I'm going to continue to believe them until they give me reason not to. And although these are big missteps, I think they're going to come out of this. They're going to come out of this, basically, is what I'm trying to say. They're going to come out of this very quickly new shift of resources, and getting something to the PoE 1 community is a good move. I'm assuming, and I'm pretty confident, that this league that they're going to introduce is going to be a fun league. I hopefully, again, depending on the timing and how other things are evolving, because there's a lot of moving parts right now, I hope to be playing it as well. I'm looking forward to it. It sounds really interesting. And then regarding Path of Exile 2, and really all the issues, and they're too long to get into right now. I believe this is why it's taking them so long to really put pen to paper and communicate to us what they're actually going to do with the big patch. I know this minor patch is going to address some of the things, but the big patch coming, what I suspect and I speculate is going to be a server reset and adding 2 more classes to early access. That's my guess. That's my speculation. It's not based on anything other than the information that I know. So only time will tell whether I'm right or wrong. But my point is, a lot of people are going down these rabbit holes and being very negative. And again, some of it is substantiated and people have the right to have their own opinions. But at the end of the day, guys, this is going to be laughable in 6 or 7 months when both games are thriving and both games are doing very well. That's my opinion. That's my estimation. But again, time will tell, and I may be completely off my rocker and wrong, but we'll see. I just wanted to do this video just to give an update. There's really not a lot of meat on the bone right now. We're just getting little tidbits, but I think this is the calm before the storm. And when I mean storm, I mean a really good storm that's going to elevate both games, Path of Exile 1 and Path of Exile 2. I just really believe grinding gear games kind of got hit back with this and is now just getting their feet back on the ground, and they're going to do what they do, and that's make good games. We have it in Path of Exile 1. They've shown that, not over 1 year, over 10 years. So they know what they're doing, and I suspect they're going to do the same thing. Remember, guys, Path of Exile 1 was not all rosy all the time. They did have hiccups there as well, like they're currently facing in Path of Exile 2. So there's rosier days ahead, in my opinion. I'm going to continue to maintain that opinion until they show me otherwise. Anyway, let me know what you guys think. Are you one of the few or one of the many, depending on how you look at it, that kind of have put it off to the side right now and waiting for things to get fixed? Or are you still battling out like me and just enjoying what the current state of PoE 2 is, knowing that it's only going to get better? Let me know in the comments section. I would love to hear your thoughts. And as always, if you could subscribe to my content, doesn't cost you anything. I would really appreciate the support of my content. It means the world to me. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. And as always, we'll hope to see you next time. Take care. The opinions expressed in this video are mine and solely mine. Healthy debate is always encouraged. Hate is never welcomed. So get over it.